Hello, everyone, and welcome to the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown. I'm your host, Sam Steep, doing it alone this afternoon. Try and do my best at talking to myself. Today we have Matt Dunstone versus Reid Carruthers, both teams making recent lineup changes. Should be a ton of fun. We have obviously Matt Dunstone, Skip, Colton Lott, Vice, EJ Harnan second, and Ryan Harnan lead for the Dunstone team. For Team Reid Carruthers, we have Reid Carruthers at Skip, Catlin Schneider third, Kyle During second, and Connor Negevin lead. This is an A semifinal here in Swift Current. Obviously, you can see the packed house on sheet one, and there'll be people viewing on the warm side of the glass as well as we start this first end with some rocks in play. Team Dunstone winning the draw for Hammer. This is the all Manitoba matchup. In our other games, we have Brad Jacobs versus John Epping in an A semifinal. We have Mike McEwen versus Corey Dropkin in an A semi. And we have a couple of B event games. Drew Hydett versus Kelly Knapp, Saskatchewan battle, and Brad Gushu versus Ethan Sampson. Brad Gushu being the first high-seeded team being upset over Mr. Pierce's team. Brad Pierce beat them yesterday to advance into the A semi. Both these teams making changes halfway through the season. This year's been an interesting year when it comes to those changes. First, Kevin Cooey, then Brad Gushu, then Reid Carruthers and Matt Dunstone making changes as well. I think the interesting part about these changes is the fact that it is the year before, or it is the trials, pre-trials this season and trials next year. Making changes that close is definitely new to our sport. EJ Harnan spared for Team Dunstone for an event in the Sioux a couple of weeks ago, maybe just over a month ago. They ended up winning the event with him, and everyone kind of felt the change coming. Colton Lott played Vice for Matt Dunstone for a few years in juniors, obviously a few successful years. So EJ hits and sticks, doesn't quite get the role they wanted to behind that corner guard. Reid Carruthers asking Kyle During to make the double, and with no mistake. Obviously, Kyle During being on one of Matt Dunstone's junior teams that won the national. Well, after this double is made by EJ Harnan, it's most likely going to be a blank. Reid Carruthers beating Owen Parcell Friday afternoon. Dunstone beating Drew Hydett to make it to this A semifinal. The winner will play the winner of Collider Pierce tomorrow afternoon. As some of you may not know, the women's playoffs are on Sunday. The men's playoffs are Monday. That's why the men got to stay. They started a day later. Obviously, wouldn't have these streams without Curling Stadium. We have streams on all 5 sheets that are being played here in Swift Current. 2 sheets will have full commentary. The other 3, just the live stream. Catlin Schneider getting ready for the open hit. This Reid Carruthers team has changed quite a bit in the last couple of seasons. Reid and Connor Negavan being the only 2 that have been together for the past couple of seasons. Team Dunstone both teams looking to make a rise up in the point standings. Dunstone sitting comfortably in 8 in the world and being in those slam position, but Reid Carruthers sliding down in once I find him. Into 19th, which on some slam events don't qualify for the Tier 1. They're looking to change that going into the new year with a good event here. This event is a 6.5 SFM, which means the strength of field, which means if you qualify for playoffs, you get a decent amount of points. If you win the entire thing, you'll launch yourself up the standings. And that's why you see most of the top teams in the world on the men's and women's side here. As Reid makes the hit and stick, does stick around on the wings. Going to make Matt Dunstone freshen up a new path. As Matt Dunstone settles in. It's awesome to see lots of live viewers at the venue in Swift Current and online. The game that I got to commentate this morning, Team Fujisawa versus Team Inglot, had almost 2,000 viewers, which is obviously incredible. Curling Stadium putting on a great live stream for all of us that gets to watch back home. And a big sweep just to touch this stone. Gets the job done. Obviously Matt Dunstone looking for the blank. Reid giving an opportunity to get draw weight, at least to the wings. They'll see a new path, and obviously Reid threw the draw to the button for hammer, but slid into the back 8, and that's why Matt Dunstone is starting with hammer. He was almost full button. Obviously, a big topic at hand is the next Grand Slam, where they will be implementing a new rule about if you blank 2 in a row, you lose the hammer. So just for fun, next end, we could see how people would defend against that. I'm very curious. 2 different ways about it. You can obviously play more aggressive with more rocks in play, and that's what they want for the viewer at home. Or the other team could eliminate all the stones and force you to take one. So very interesting. As Matt Dunstone settles in the hack here for his blank attempt. Last rock here in the first. And no mistake made, we'll have a blank in the first and Team Dunstone keeps hammer going into the second. We'll be right back after the short break. Welcome back to the RBC Dominion Security Western Showdown here in Swift Current. I'm Sam Steep. Production by Curling Stadium here. And James Corden running the cameras. Now we're going to see a little more rocks in play here in the second end, obviously with the perfect center, perfect corner guard. This rock for Connor Negevin coming up a little bit lighter than they wanted. It does cut off the corner guard, so they can't use that red yet. Team Dunstone forced to draw around the center. The ice here in Swift Current has been fantastic. Shout out to all of our ice makers, making this a very busy event possible for the best teams in the world. Lots of curl, very predictable. And obviously Ryan Harmon throwing about 1.4 million, draws to the forefoot, doesn't make a mistake. Kyle During, the new pickup for Reid Carruthers. He has spared for them before in the past. Obviously, Kyle being on a lot of top teams in the last couple of years, playing with Sturmey before he stepped back from competitive curling. Had most of this year off other than sparing until Reid Carruthers gave him a call. As Derek Semigalski took a step away from the team. That rock over curling on Kyle a little bit, giving Team Dunstone a little bit of an advantage this end right now. I'm a big fan of the new Team Dunstone. Obviously, BJ Neufeld, an incredible curler. But the fact that both the brothers are back together, they can practice together. I just think practicing with your team gives you such a big advantage. And when your team lives too far apart, it just doesn't work out. And, I mean, it's impossible to not think about the brother chemistry being second to none. And for Reid Carruthers, obviously them making a change. I was a big Derek Semigalski fan, still am. But Team teams that haven't maybe has been successful as they wanted to. Reid Carruthers, so wanting to make a change and change that. See how that goes. Next couple of events. They're trying to get their spot back in the Tier 1 as they've slipped down to 19th in the world. Calderon being asked to make the hit and roll. Stuffs the double. I'm not sure if the double was even there anyways. Now gives Team Dunstone a couple of options. Could hit and roll or could freeze. If you corner freeze that yellow, then they hit and roll, you're in trouble. So I do think they need to make a hit. Now, understanding their problem rock is that yellow that they're about to eliminate. As BJ Harden settles into the hack. Just rolled. Not quite enough. I think it might be buried enough that the double is certainly hard to eliminate both reds. Looks like you can make it with board plus weight. Because it is, to me, it looks like a bit buried, but they're throwing big weight. So skinny the guard, get rid of both reds, and Team Carruthers will be sitting in a good spot. Catlin Schneider. They went with ease. Must be more space than I could see. Well done. I think it obviously best bet they hit a little thicker and keep their yellow in play to keep the force on. We know how many stones can leave after one rock of Colton Lots being thrown, looking for the double peel. Obviously, Colton Lott and Matt Dunstone played together for a long time. He was his vice. Went down to second for BJ, but now back up to vice. Colton, a very successful mixed doubles player, winning our national last year. Going to be at the Olympic trials in a couple of weeks. Makes the double peel with ease. Catlin Schneider being asked to replace the center guard. When I watch these games and commentate over these games, I really do watch the sweeping technique that every sweeper, male or female, is doing. Sweeping, I think, has changed the game so much, and the best teams in the world are sweeping with different sweeping techniques. So it's very interesting. Obviously, if you look at Team Moet, who's been the best team in the world this year, as Colton Lott stuffs the run back. If you're a junior or a young men's team or women's team trying to get to the next level, whether that's tier 2 or tier 1. Sweeping is obviously going to get you there. Shot making is important. Obviously, good technique is important, but sweeping makes shots, especially when you play on great ice like Swift Current currently is. So, Team Carruthers deciding on the nose tap. You can create some separation to make that run back double harder. You tap it to right to the top button. You'll really shrink that scoring area. I did not know Matt fell yesterday, just reading the comments, but I'm glad he is back. Looks like he's throwing a good rock, so not injured. Trying to carve the stone to make sure there's not an easy double. And it looks like you can make the double, but I don't think you keep your shooter. So certainly a conversation to be had. You make the double, then you're probably going to have to make a run back or a draw for 1. You can probably make it with lightweight right on the nose and eliminate both yellows and keep your shooter. I think that's what they're looking at. Like a control weight, 10-5 weight. But it looks like Matt's going to throw the high hard one, as he's pretty much known for. Makes the double, loses his shooter. We'll probably have to make a run back or a draw for 1 though. Step 1 is to make this slash double, as it's Matt Dunstone's first rock here in the second. Oh, and just misses it. The camera angle must be a little off. I didn't think he could make it thick and still keep the shooter, and he almost did with that weight. Pretty much the worst outcome. Leaving your red in the top 8, kind of guarding that draw path. Now Reid Carruthers has to make a decision. Does he hit and roll, or does he draw to the top 8 foot and put as much pressure as possible? The draw is a little scary just because it's the second end path. One of these teams threw this draw path for the hammer. I'm not sure if Reid's was on this side or not. Looks like he's deciding on the draw. Obviously, the only risk is coming up late and leaving a hit for 2. But if you can put this top 4 fully buried, might be a difficult shot for 1 for Team Dunstone, as Reid Carruthers settles in the hack for his last rock in the second. When they put the broom down, it didn't look like a ton of line. Looks like they're going for line right now. They did get by. They need to be second shot, though, and they will. No mistake by Reid. Overcurls a little bit. Looks like it's going to be a hit for one. The two options are the hack weight hit for one or the nose tap on the red. If this was a later end, if this was 6th or 8th end and they needed 2 in the game, they would play the nose run back for 2, but obviously don't need to take that much risk here in the second end. You're on even ends, playing the scoreboard. This isn't the easiest shot in the world, but it's certainly makeable. Hack waiter right on the nose. Needs to stay in the full forefoot for his 1 point. Last rock here in the second. Perfect weight. Needs this to curl a little more. And it's going to stop in time. Matt Dunstone gets his 1 point here in the second to go up 1-0. Reid Carruthers will have hammer when we come back. Welcome back to the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown here in Swift Current. I'm Sam Steep. Live stream from Curling Stadium. You can catch all of the action on Curling Zone's YouTube. Please subscribe, like, comment. Talk to me in the chat if you'd like. Carolyn, to answer your question, I believe Team Dunstone already has a wild card spot, so they can have 2 outside provincial curlers. Unless one of them moved to Manitoba, I'm not sure, but I'm more than certain they have a wild card spot. Yeah, exempt because he's already qualified. Just like the Gushu rink currently, because they're Team Canada, they're exempt as well. But obviously, if they don't win or don't have a wild card spot, they will have to change their lineup. Or Curling Canada will have to change the rules. One of the two. It'll be interesting after this trials year next year how the rules may or may not change, because as we've all seen, exclude Rachel Holman and Brad Gushu for making, winning and making finals at the world stage. Canada's not a ton of teams in the top 20. We currently have 7 of the top 20 teams are Canadian in the world. Obviously, some Canadian teams are having great years. You look at John Epping, who's won a few events this year. He's rised up in the rankings very quickly. Matt Dunstones and Mike McEwen were both up there, and Brad Gushu were all up there before. And Brad Jacobs having a pretty good second half of this season so far. Update you on the other scores. Brad Jacobs takes 3 in the first, goes up 3-0 over John Epping. Kelly Knapp goes up 4-0 over Drew Heidet. And Brad Gushu steals one in the first over Ethan Sampson. He's up 1-0. Back to our action. Reid Carruthers sitting 2 with Hammer here in the third. With the house pretty split. Team Dunstone going to need to group those rocks up to eventually make a double. I looked at the Hardin brothers and had flashbacks to Team Jacobs in 2013. Does look like Team Dunstone will have a chance at a double if Kyle During doesn't make a perfect roll here. Update you on our women's event. Team Schwaller has qualified through the A as well as Team Skrillik. On the B side, we had Grin Brown win over Team McMillan. Kate Cameron won over Team Strauss to qualify for the B, and Team Fijisawa won over Team Inglet. So 5 of the 8 women's teams have been qualified for the playoffs starting tomorrow. Team Strauss is waiting for the winner of Team Einerson versus Team Laws this afternoon. Team Inglot's waiting for the winner of Chelsea Carey and Thevenot. And Team McMillan is waiting for the winner of Team Campbell versus Team Inglis this afternoon. As I said, for the women's the women's playoffs start tomorrow, where the men's playoffs are on Monday. And a great double, obviously, by Colton Lott. Or the hit and roll as Reid Carruthers hit and rolled out. My bad. Just like that, 2-shot swing and not looking like a 2-point end for Carruthers right now. As Team Carruthers was looking for the roll behind that red corner guard. One of these teams will make the roll, and most likely the other team will make the run back to open up the house. This is an A semifinal game. Winner of this game gets the winner of Clyder Pierce tomorrow at 11:15 Swift Current time. And a nice hit and roll by Colton Lott. Gets about 3/4 buried. Probably forces Team Carruthers into making the run back. I don't think Reid would be upset with a blank. They're only down 1. They would like to be on even ends if they could. As Captain Schneider throws his last here in the third end. And no mistake. And just like I have a crystal ball, it's going to be a blank end. It's pretty easy to guesstimate what's going to happen when you have 2 of the best teams in Canada playing against each other. Obviously, Reid getting ready for that Manitoba playdown. This is the last big event of the year. Obviously, the Guelph Grand Slam coming in the new year. And obviously, for the Canadians, we have mixed doubles trials coming up December 27th. Look for a lot of players in the field to this weekend will be there. As Matt looks to get his draw weight, a free draw to the paint. It's always nice as a skip to refresh what weight they need. Oh, Curling Zone had the scores wrong. John Epping takes 3 in the first to be up 3-0, but Brad Jacobs answers with a 2 of their own. So that A semifinal is 3-2. John Epping has hammer. As Matt Dunstone draws the back 4, and we're most likely going to see a blank end. No mistake by Reid, making the hit and stick. Matt Dunstone settling in the hack, looking to do the same thing. I think fireworks are about to go off here in the 4th. Reid is going to go pretty hard to get his 2 points. Matt's looking to hit and stick around. It looks like he will roll out. Gives a no-pressure shot to Reid Carruthers. A throw through to blank the end. Gets to see a new path. And Callan Schneider just settles in at the hog line. He doesn't need to follow a stone. And a blank end here in the 3rd. Team Dunstone takes their 1-0 lead into the 4th. Reid Carruthers has hammer when we come back. Welcome back to Swift Current. I'm Sam Steep. Production by Curling Stadium. Giving you all the live streams across all 5 sheets of this Swift Current event. The RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown. And we have 2 very, very tight guards. 1 center guard, 1 corner guard. I'd like to think game on. I think Reid Carruthers should be going hard for their 2 points this end. As Connor Negevin is being asked to draw around the corner guard. And no mistake. Also, obviously, as somebody who has thrown a million draws around a corner guard. EJ Harden, the new pickup here for Team Dunstone. They've been pretty successful with him once this year, already winning an event when he was sparing for the team. Very curious about this call, as EJ made it perfect, so there's nothing curious about it. A lot of teams would have drawn around their center guard and not corner frozen a rock behind a corner guard when they don't have hammer. Obviously, when you make it perfect, it's hard to complain about it. Something I haven't seen much. With the split being called, I have a feeling this end is going to be similar to our other two Blake ends with the hitting ability of these two teams. And I did feel like the split was a little early in the end. We're only on Vice's first. For Reid Carruthers, seconds first. Make the hit and roll, create two corner guards. You have a yellow in the rings. Reid Carruthers would be in a pretty good spot. Oh, they're not hitting. They are going to play the split. It's going to over curl on Kyle during a little bit. Unfortunate for them. It does look like they left a double. After EJ made a perfect corner freeze. Makes the perfect double and keeps the shooter. It was very difficult to keep the shooter there. If they hit the top rock a little thicker, it's going to spin out of the rings, and there's just one red left in the top 8. So well done by EJ. Just the pure hitting ability of both teams makes this game going to be a low-scoring game. Reid obviously trying to generate his 2 points. Make this short run back right on the nose. Make it hard to eliminate. They won't be shot stone, I don't think. And it doesn't stick around for Kyle. A little bit of a misstep. I think the tolerance would have been to miss a little narrow and keep your shot rock in front of the red. Now you just left your corner guard burying a red in the top 8 foot. So slight advantage for Team Dunstone this end so far. Drawing around the center guard. Trying to be full top 4 where there's no double. Would be a perfect spot. Pretty good sweeping by EJ. About 2 feet shorter than they wanted it to be, but pretty difficult shot. That path hasn't been thrown much. What I mean by path for someone who's maybe not an experienced curler, it just means that a rock is traveling in a new spot on the ice. And sometimes the times that they need are a little bit different. Sometimes the rock reacts differently than a different spot on the ice. So I think they knew what that rock was going to do and just came up 2 feet late, but sometimes, even at the top level, they get surprised. This rock, they weren't panicked and just jumped on Team Carruthers. They didn't lay a brush on that until 3/4 of the way down. Then they started to pound it. So very interesting. Might have jumped on them line-wise. And the advantage still stays in Team Dunstone's favor. Make a center guard, and Team Carruthers will have no choice but to make a run back. Just a slight over curl for Colton Lott. Gives Team Carruthers an opportunity to make a backline tap and roll under. Think they'll be able to be shot rock if it's made perfectly. And obviously a little bit of redemption for Catlin Schneider. Though I think he threw his last rock fine, just kind of jumped on them. Sometimes, as a player, you can overthink about that. Looking for back 12 weight, try to flip underneath the center guard to try and manufacture their 2 points. Just didn't curl enough for Catlin. Maybe a little bit heavy. They wanted back 12, back line weight, and they did end up eliminating that stone. But just, 2, 3, 4 feet heavy affects the line quite a bit on shots like that. Probably one of the main reasons why that didn't curl up. Looking to roll under the center guard. I think that side of the sheet just is really curling on them. They were sweeping out of Matt's hand on that rock. Does over curl. Rolls into an interesting spot. If they rolled it a little farther, they would have created a pocket. It would have been a good opportunity for Dunstone for Reid Carruthers to manufacture his 2 points, but they rolled to a spot where if Reid hits that red in the 4-foot, Matt Dunstone will most likely have an open hit to force Team Carruthers to 1 here in the 4th end. That's why the team's talking about what their options are. It's an interesting situation. Do you play a freeze and hope you have some sort of a double or a double tap for 2? Do you hit and roll and open up the scoring area to make sure you score 1? Or do you make a perfect freeze? And as I said this morning, freezes are the hardest shot in curling. Not surprisingly, he's going to hit. Obviously, with hitting, it's going to be hard to score 2 points. You can make a perfect roll, and Matt Dunstone will still have a 3/4 of the rock to eliminate it. But you do open up that scoring area and make sure you score. That's the most important part, is scoring. You're in the 4th end. You can tie it up 1-1, have even ends. Scoreboard looks pretty good for you as Reid throws his first stone here in the 4th. About the best he can make it, and as I predicted, is going to have Dunstone has about 3/4 of it. Does need to stick his shooter. If he rolls out, Reid Carruthers will have a double and blank attempt if he wanted to throw it. Matt Dunstone's last rock here in the 4th, looking to eliminate the stone, wants to roll behind the center guard and put as much pressure as possible on Reid Carruthers. And that rock being mismanaged. Rubs off the corner guard, and now Reid Carruthers has a draw for 2. Big miss in the game. A little bit mismanaged, whether the sweepers didn't call the right weight or just a missed line call by Colton Lott, but draw to full 8 foot for Reid Carruthers for their 2 points. Last rock here in the 4th. And no mistake by Reid. It'll be 2 points for Team Carruthers. They go up 2-1 over Team Dunstone. Team Dunstone will have hammer when we come back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown here in Swift Current. My name is Sam Steep. Team Carruthers has a 2-1 lead over Team Dunstone. After 4 ends, Team Dunstone having the hammer here. I'm open hit to get the force pretty much open, 3/4 open. To get the force in the fourth, and he rubs off a guard, and Reid Carruthers takes advantage and draws the full 8-foot for their 2 points. And I think Team Dunstone probably going to take a little bit more risks. They're only down 1, but they're on odd ends. They don't have the scoreboard at their advantage right now. As Ryan Harden tried to draw the top 4-foot, comes up light. And sensing a momentum shift towards Team Carruthers right now. Kyle During being asked to play the hack, weight, hit, and roll here. And will crash off the center guard and just create more corners. Not an ideal shot for Kyle there. Interesting call. They only saw a piece of that red one. Wasn't sure. I know they're up 1, but drawing around to the top 4-foot the other way might have been a bit better. Maybe I'm wrong, but now chance for Team Dunstone to split their rock behind these corner guards. Pretty good shot from EJ. Doesn't quite push both reds undercover, but does have a red buried behind a corner guard. This rock, Kyle During can only see about a thick quarter of it. And a flash from Kyle. Maybe a little bit of an over adjustment. His first rock over curling. That rock under curling. We've all had those games where we've over adjusted all game, and you feel like you're throwing good rocks, and sometimes the skip just doesn't know where to put the broom because our throws changing mid game. And you're correct, Don Rose. 3 of the Canadian Junior Champs of 2016 are on the ice, being Kyle During, Colton Lott, and Matt Dunstone. Lots of history on the ice. Hard to believe 2016 is 8 years ago. If anybody has questions or anything about the game, please put it in the chat, comment, like, subscribe. Curling Zone does have a 24/7 YouTube channel. Replays all curling games that Curling Stadium streams. Please go like and subscribe. Be able to watch that. All your junior curlers, anyone trying to learn the game can go and rewatch some of the best in the world play right here on YouTube. Dunstone in a pretty good spot. That rock not quite curling enough for EJ Hyman. They would have liked that a little bit more buried so there was no easy double, but Catlin going to look at the angles here. Catlin looking at the angles. I don't think he can make the double and keep his shooter. So they need to decide what they want to do. Do they want to eliminate 2 Dunstone red rocks and lose a shooter, or do you want to make a hit and roll and shrink the scoring area? Up 1. The double's scary because they're just going to draw around one of the 4 corner guards, but I think they have to make it. It's Catlin Schneider. Throws his first here in the 5th end. And just overcurled a little bit where it couldn't kill both stones. Left their yellow in a pretty good spot in the top 12, and Matt realizing that, knowing he needs to move it. Unfortunately for Carruthers right now, if this is made, there is no easy doubles. 3 is absolutely in play here for Matt Dunstone. They talked about drawing around the corner guard. The only reason why I don't love it is that yellow in the top 12 is so usable. It's in that control zone. And what I mean by control zone is any rock that's in the 12-foot to 3 guard zone on the center line. It's a big sweep here to get it by. Just a great shot by Colton Lott. Perfect weight. Good sweeping by Ryan Harnden to hold that line. We've seen a couple rocks down the center line over curl. And they left their red rock right what I just talked about in the control zone. If Carruthers makes this perfect roll, it's a pretty short run back to continue to sit 3. Trying to hit and roll right to the back 4-foot. They threw a lot of weight there. I assume they did that because it curls so much that if they threw board weight, it would have overcurled through the port, and he probably would have just nosed it. So they threw that weight, but mismanaged it, and hit and rolls out of the rings. Now a chance to draw around the corner guard. Sit two buried. Reid Carruthers only has his skip stones left to throw. Colton Lott's last rock here in the fifth. And just a great shot by Colton Lott. I think he in the back of his mind kind of knows he made a little bit of a mistake last end, missing the line call and giving a gift to Team Carruthers. Makes a perfect draw around the corner guard. Now, Reid. I know they're up one, but they're almost drawing against their lives with how good Team Dunstone's hitting ability is. They're trying to go right to the back four, buried behind the red that's in the top 12. There is no easy hits. You can hit the rock in the top 12, but that doesn't help you. So you almost have to draw. It's weird saying this is against the game. It's only the fifth end, but very vital shot here for Reid. Needs to be back four buried. Just a perfect spot. You really couldn't place it any better. Very clutch. I know Team Dunstone still has a, I want to say easy, but relatively easy nose run back to continue to sit three. And Reid will have to make the exact same thing, most likely. I think just discussing what the best outcome is. Do they want to be nose-nose and leave their red on the back button? Or do they want to hit and roll out of the 4 foot to like the 8 foot area? And if you can be that precise, yes, you don't want to leave your red rock on the back of the button and give Reid Carruthers the exact same freeze to maybe even steal this end. Matt feeling something under his rock, so he's going to reset. Pretty big shot in the game. This is made. There's going to be a long discussion for Team Carruthers on what they're going to do to try and cut Team Dunstone down. Matt's first rock here in the fifth end. Makes the run back, does roll out, and that red in the top 12 is not in the rings. But he is rolled into that red being very playable, very usable. Reid kind of knows if they draw, you can't give Matt Dunstone the same shot twice. He's not going to miss, even though he didn't miss the first time. He half made it. But there really is no other shot unless they want to run back a red. You can run back the corner guard, eliminate one of them, but still gives Matt Dunstone a split for 3. So they are forced to draw. Back forefoot, make the run back as hard as possible. Reid just threw this, so he was always going to throw the draw. It's just where they want it. Biting the back forefoot, not quite fully behind the red, is a perfect spot. Big momentum shot here. And that's about the best spot you can put it, exactly where we talked about. They don't have the hack waiter through the hole. They're going to have to play the run back. Looks like 3/4. If they hit 3/4 of that red one, they'll make it for 3. Just off nose on either side, or on the broom side, will be for 3 points. And to take a 4-2 lead if he can stick the shooter. Last rock here in the 5th end. Just off nose run back for 3 from Matt Dunstone. And another missed line call by Colton Lott, but does make it for 2. Matt Dunstone takes a 3-2 lead. After 5, Reid Carruthers will have hammer when we come back. Welcome back to the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown. I'm Sam Steep. Live stream provided by Curling Stadium. All 5 sheets here at Swift Current will be streamed. Please comment, like, subscribe. We normally do display the raw count. I think we're having a little bit of technical issues with that. So we'll have to be a little bit old school here and just count the rocks you see on the screen. But Reid Carruthers down 1 with hammer here in the 6th end. Matt Dunstone did have a run back for 3, makes it for 2. Showed a little bit of frustration. That is 2 shots where the line call has been missed on Matt Dunstone's last rock. That costed a 3-point swing so far this game. If you do the math, if Matt makes his last in the 4th end, Reid Carruthers only has 1 point. They're up 2-1. Makes that run back for 3. They'll be up 4-1. So 3-point swing with missed line calls so far. Colton obviously being second the last couple of years and obviously no stranger to calling line, but sometimes you get a little rusty. Sometimes you have a bad day calling line. As a skip, that's almost every day for me. So if Team Dunstone doesn't convert this win, they definitely will look back at those shots. Though they're in an okay spot being up one without in 6, I think both teams are going to want to score in this end. Dunstone probably playing to steal. As that rock for EJ slides back to the back 12. That shot could have been a good opportunity to put some pressure, more pressure on Team Carruthers. And Kyle Dern missing the double run back. Update you on our other games. In our another A semifinal, John Epping takes another 3. They go up 6-2 over Brad Jacobs after 4 ends. Mike McEwen and Corey Dropkin are tied 2-2. Mike McEwen has hammer in the 5th. Kelly Knapp up 5-1 in our B game here over Drew Heidet. And Ethan Sampson takes 3 in the 5th. Tie game 5-5. Brad Gushu has hammer in the 6th end. Lots of close games. That rock being called a high center guard. Slides a little bit too deep for EJ. Another line miscommunication by Team Dunstone. They were calling straight for most of the time, and then that rock under curls for them. That can be frustrating throughout a game. Making these little mistakes that normally Team Dunstone, their top team in the world, doesn't make. But this is their, only their first or second official time together in this lineup. I know EJ spared and they won in the Sioux, but chance for Reid Carruthers to split the rings and sit 2 here in the 6th. All of a sudden, the turntables are turning. Team Carruthers sitting 2. Both of them relatively buried. The freeze would have been very difficult. And with that high guard, they can probably dig this yellow rock out of those corner guards. What I mean by that is throw a hack waiter, hit a quarter of the rock, roll behind the center would be perfect. Big shot here for Colton Lott in the 6th end. A well-executed shot. That's a big team shot. Obviously, they've had a couple of missed line calls, and to have one that was pretty well perfect is very impressive. They would have wanted that to roll another rock over, would have been perfect. But with that red in the back 8-foot, it's hard for Team Carruthers not to jam. And if they do jam, Team Dunstone will be sitting second shot. Caitlin Schneider's last rock here. In the 6th end, looking for a hack, weight, hit, and roll. Makes it to perfection. Not an easy shot to cross the face, throw the perfect weight so it stays second shot. It's decision time for Team Dunstone. Do you freeze or do you hit? You're up 1, but it's the 6th end. Freezing would get the force, but it looks like they're deciding to hit. Probably similar weight as Colton just threw, but hack waiter. I'm curious why they didn't throw the freeze. Maybe, obviously, if you don't make the freeze, you bring 3 into play, and giving up 3 wouldn't be game over, but it would make your chances of winning go down a lot lower. Play the hit roller to center line. Maybe set up some form of run double or freeze on his last rock. Looking, trying to get the inside roll. Doesn't quite. Hits it right on the nose. You can tell by just because they had those 1 or 2 mistakes with the line call that they're very hesitant in carving rocks early. Because they got by those guards by quite a bit. Still advantage Team Carruthers if they can make this hit and roll to. They're calling for the nose. You could hit and roll to center line. If you nose it, Team Dunstone might decide on freezing. Last rock here for Matt Dunstone, looking to put it in the back eight. Doesn't want to create separation. Doesn't want to tap it. If he taps it, he makes enough space. And it goes too far. That needed to stop in the full 8-foot. I think it went too far. Looks like yellow. Going to be a draw for 2 for Reid Carruthers to take back the lead after 6 ends. Trying to pick a path they like. Needs to stay in the full 8-foot. Needs full 8 for their 2 points to take a 4-3 lead after 6 ends. They're looking for this rock to stop, and it will. Team Dunstone has hammer coming back in the 7th. We'll be right back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown. Team Carruthers takes their 2 points, goes up 4-3 after 7. Not sure if Team Carruthers called their rock into the rings, but now looking like a blank end here in 7, which I'm surprised Team Carruthers is okay with. Some teams are comfortable being up 1 without in the last, but Matt Dunstone's had opportunities for multiple, a couple of times this game. I think Matt's perfectly fine with a blank end here. Well, good opportunity to update you on the other sheets. Team Epping wins 11-2 over Team Brad Jacobs, steals 5 in the 5th to end the game and advance to the A final. Team Mike McEwen takes 2 over Corey Dropkin, goes up 4-2. Team Kelly Knapp wins 5-2 over Team Drew Hadit, and Team Brad Gushu takes 3 and 6, goes up 8-5 over Team Ethan Sampson. As we're most likely going to see a blank end here in the 7th. Defensive indifference, as they would call in other sports. Obviously, thank you to Curling Stadium for streaming all 5 sheets this weekend here in Swift Current. We'll have live streams for the women's playoffs. Obviously, have live streams for the rest of the day and the men's playoffs on Monday. On the women's side, Team Schwaller and Team Skrillik won the A qualifier finals. Team Corinna Brown, Team Kate Cameron, and Team Fujisawa won the B qualifier finals. Just C side left on the women's side, where this afternoon we will see Team Einerson versus Team Laws, Team Carey versus Team Thevenot, and Team Inglis versus Team Campbell, all in C semifinal games. The men's side, we have obviously had our first final. Team Epping is waiting in the final for the winner of Team Mike McEwen or Team Dropkin. This is the last big event before the new year, for the Christmas break. Some of these players will be going to the Canadian mixed doubles trials, the Olympic trials, over the Christmas break, including Colton Lott, who is the defending national champion, with his wife. Wish all the teams the best of luck, and may the best team win. whoever wins that trials will represent Canada at the Olympics in Italy, and they will do awesome no matter what. Obviously, Canada hasn't won an Olympic gold they didn't win the mixed doubles or the men's or women's last year, only bringing home a bronze medal. I would say only a bronze medal for Brad Kushu. Obviously incredible. The competition is just stronger than it used to be. And Canada are making changes the last couple of years to catch up. Thanks to a change in staff with obviously Dave Murdoch leading the helm. Nolan Thiessen obviously up in a big position as well, making changes, looking towards our future. A lot of these top curlers are going to retire in the next 1 to 5 years. And our next step is the likes of Matt Dunstone, Kyle During, Colton Lott, the three of them, 2016 junior national champs right there, chatting it up. Obviously, Tyler Tardy, there's a ton of U25 teams making their way up. Team McDonald, Team Newbrook, a bunch of young athletes making the next step. As Reid is being asked to have this rock draw. And Kyle getting a little cold, deciding to sweep the rest of it to the tee line. Like I said before, a defensive indifference. Matt Dunstone happy to blank. Team Carruthers just as happy to be up one without in the last. Matt Dunstone's first rock here in the 7th, looking for the hit and stick. Trying not to give Reid Carruthers another free draw. Makes the hit and roll out. Reid gets to draw another free draw to the rings here, splitting the other side of the house. Not a broom laid to this rock, looking for it to slow down. Looks like it did. Matt Dunstone. Blank attempt incoming. Eliminate the yellow rollout. Keep the hammer in the 8th is the goal here for Matt. And we will obviously have a much more exciting 8th end. Last rock here in the 7th. Swept the entire way. Got to roll out, and it does. Team Dunstone keeps the hammer. Team Carruthers keeps the lead. We'll be right back after this short break. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown. I am Sam Steep. We're here in the 8th end. Dunstone has hammer down 1. Reid Carruthers looking to force or steal. Obviously, Matt Dunstone looking to take at least 2 points for the win. Obviously, last end we had a defensive indifference. Both teams okay to blank. Very curious. I was wondering why Carruthers didn't throw up a center guard, but obviously their team had a game plan. Unless that center guy just slid in the rings and they were okay with a blank. Blanks no more. Reid asking for a tight center guard here. And Connor Negvin doesn't make a mistake. Makes it perfect. Center guard. So far set up just like we thought it would. Imagine if this draw around the corner guard's made perfectly. Reid will draw around those center guards and Dunstone will make the double peel. Ryan Harden's last rock here in the 8th end. Looking to draw around that corner guard. This rock does need to curl quite a bit for it to be buried. No mistake. So far, 4 perfect stones by the Leeds. They did their job this end. As predicted, to draw around the 2 corner guards. Or 2 center guards, sorry. But no, they have changed the call to the corner freeze. This is the second time I've seen it this game. First, Dunstone did it when they didn't have hammer. Now Carruthers is doing it while they don't have hammer. The risk to the shot is they can't bounce off. You create a pretty easy hit and roll. I'm probably going to give up 2. No mistake. Perfect corner freeze. By Kyle During. Really came on the last 2 ends here. Started making everything. Now Dunstone gets to be the first into the 4-foot. This rock, they don't want it too deep where it's an easy in-off or an easy freeze, but they do need it to be buried. Pretty perfect shot by EJ Harnden. Fully buried, just biting the top 4. Any deeper, and Reid Carruthers has that in-off on the yellow on the side, or a freeze. So well done, well placed. Kyle being asked to make another corner freeze. Made the first one. Trying to end the game off right by making the next one. Don't want to bounce off. But it was quite heavy. They tried to bounce off big enough to where they can see that red one. Not quite. Definitely advantage Team Dunstone. I know they're playing around the center guard, but they're about to draw and sit 2-1 absolutely buried. Team Dunstone doesn't want to bounce either. Create an easy double. They want this to stop above the other one, and it does. 2 pretty well perfect shots by EJ. They obviously would like that rock 2 inches over more, so where this double tap isn't as easy. So looking to play back line to hack weight, double tap those reds, keep the angle where your yellow doesn't bounce off too far, and open up one of the reds on the other side of the sheet. Would be perfect here for Catlin. Just bounces too far. That was the risk. They wanted to keep that yellow to where they could use it. Right now, those yellows are locked. They can't hit the red right now. The red is buried on the top of the button. Colton coming down to look at the angles to make sure they're calling the right shot. Chance for Team Dunstone to put a ton of pressure here. Make this hit and stick to where there's no double. There'll be 3 reds in the rings, including Shot Rock. think they wanted it to curl just a little bit more because the red, yellow, red is lined up, but I don't know how much it would drag onto it to stick around. They might not want to play that yet. Red is currently sitting 1. Looks like Dunstone sitting 1 and 3 and 4. Carruthers is second shot. Pretty great shot by Catlin Schneider. Really shrinks that scoring area. Team Dunstone needs 2 to win the game. Can't exactly hear what they're saying as the mics. We obviously don't have mics on the players, but we have mics on the camera, which is above them. I personally think they need to unlock that red, yellow, red. They need to give Matt Dunstone 2 options to score multiple. So how do you do that? You could make the double peel down the center. You can freeze. You can unlock those red yellows. If you can hit it off of nose, unlock the red, yellow, red, still stay shot, gives yourself 2 options to win the game. This is Colton Lott's last rock. Vice is last. Here in the 8th end. Brad Gushu stays alive on the B side. Beats Ethan Sampson and advances to the B semifinal while he'll play Kelly Knapp later on tonight. It looks like Team Dunstone has decided to make the freeze. Even if you could tap that yellow just a little bit. Definitely gives them a couple of options for Matt Dunstone to win the game for them. And unfortunately, coming up late, they wanted that right frozen on the center line. It is a usable stone for some sort of run back. I think these last 4 rocks of the game are going to be talked about for a while. They were the fastest sheet on the ice, so if they were playing on clocks, they would take just as long. But obviously, important game, a semifinal. It's an interesting situation for Team Carruthers because they are sitting second. Not an easy shot for 2 right now for Matt Dunstone. And they have a lot of options. They could play the double tap. They could play an in-off. They could play a hit and roll. They could even guard. It's just a lot of options that make sense, strategically speaking. Looks like they're deciding on the hit of the red rock in the 8-foot to sit. Second, third, fourth. Reid Carruthers, first rock here in the 8th. Hits and rolls to the back 8-foot. Almost lined up the red, yellow, red, yellow. Luckily for them, it didn't. Team Dunstone is in a little bit of trouble here. Going to need to make a really good one if they want to score 2. I know they're currently shot rock, but angles aren't awesome for them right now. Team Dunstone lining up the angle run, trying to run it into the red in the top 8 foot and hit both of the yellows that are in the 8 foot in the top 4. If made perfectly, they should be sitting 1-2 after this rock is thrown. It is a pretty all or nothing play. If they don't touch a single rock in the center, Reid Carruthers will have an in-off to sit 2 buried. Sit 3 buried. Big shot here from Matt Dunstone. His 7 rock here in the 8th end. Pretty good shot. Obviously, they're no longer sitting shot rock. Team Carruthers is now sitting 1. But it does look like Team Dunstone is sitting 2nd and 3rd, and the angle is a lot better. Reid has no choice but to draw to sit 2 and hopefully not leave a slash double for the win. Reid Carruthers looking to draw the top button. Needs to be careful where they put it because Team Dunstone will be able to slash that red in the top 8 and maybe make a double for the win. Matt Dunstone looking at those yellow-red combination in the back 4 foot because that could be his 2nd point depending on who's closer. First objective, though, Reid needs to draw the top button as he settles in for his last rock here in the 8th end. Not the shot they wanted. They wanted to be top button buried, but after a good line call from Kyle During, that slash double jams on the back red. I'm more than certain. So they are looking at slashing the red into the yellows, slashing the red in the top 8 foot into the yellow on the side 4 foot for a 2 in the win. That's if they think that yellow-yellow combination goes over top. But they need to make sure their 2nd shot. They're both looking, or their 4th shot. Get the young eyes at it. The EJ and Ryan. Zoom in. Wow, that is very close. My guess is red. But I was wrong yesterday when I guessed, so. If they don't absolutely know their 2nd shot, the red slash is definitely the call. Mike McEwen takes 4 and 7, wins 8-3 over Corey Dropkin. That does make an A final. Team John Epping versus Team versus Team McEwen at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Swift Current time. That is one of our A finals on the men's side. Team Dunstone deciding that they are not fourth shot. Needs to hit a thin half, looking like a quarter of a rock with peel to make the slash double for the win. They also need to keep their red in the 4-foot. Last rock, here in 8. Oh, and it's going to be a measure 4-2 and the win. Hits the rock a little thicker than they wanted. It redirects off shot stone into the yellows. We have an extra end for sure, but Matt Dunstone has a measure for the win. What a great sweep by Ryan Hernan as we watch the replay. See if we can get a zoom in on the house here. See which rock they point at. Colton's picking red, and so does Reid Carruthers. So Matt Dunstone wins the game 5-4. Reid Carruthers will drop down to the B side. Matt Dunstone's waiting in the A final for their opponent tomorrow morning. Thank you, everyone, for joining us here at the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown here in Swift Current. My name is Sam Steep. I will see you later on tonight.